Hi, next let's talk about types of financial aid. So, this visual here on the screen is a nice overview that we're going to go into a little more depth on. So, when we talk about financial aid, we're talking about four major sources of funding to pay for your schooling or to pay for your cost of attendance. Those are grants, scholarships, work study, and federal loans. So, financial aid does not include money that you have saved up to pay for school, that your family has saved or invested for you. These are external sources that you will apply for through the FAFSA, which we will talk about in another video. So I like this visual because they are showing you the types of financial aid that you would want as a hierarchy in terms of most preferential to least preferential. We want grants and scholarships first because those are types of financial aid that we do not have to pay back. Work study, we have to earn through a job. And then loans should be our last financial aid option that we consider because not only do you have to pay it back, but you'll be paying it back with interest, which we'll go into a little bit more now. So, grants are really the preferential type of financial aid that we want first and foremost because we don't need to do a lot to get them and we don't need to pay them back. So, grants are considered gift aid because they are given to you. They are coming from the government, from federal and state governments, and sometimes from colleges. So, most grants are need based. That means that they're given based on your family's financial circumstances as determined by the FAFSA. So, not everyone is going to be eligible for a grant, unfortunately, but if you are more low income, you will likely receive either the Pell Grant or the Cal Grant and possibly both. So the Pell Grant is a federal grant that can give you around up to $7,000 approximately. It's a little bit more if you get the max amount 4 years in a row. So that's $7,000 every single year if you're eligible for the maximum amount. The Cal Grant is specific to California, so you need to be a California high school student to receive this. You also need to use it at a California school. It can be a private school, but it has to stay within California. And the Cal Grant is determined both on your financial need as well as the tuition of the school that you're attending. So it tries to match the tuition of a California public school. So either a community college, a CSU, or a UC. Tuition at private schools are significantly higher. The Cal Grant will not pay the full tuition of a private school, but it will pay a portion of it, typically around $10,000. So those are really large sources of money, potentially, $15,000 to $20,000 if you're going to a UC and you receive the maximum amount. And that's free money that you receive every year that you don't pay back. So we always first and foremost look to see if you will receive a grant and how much that is, because that can make a really big difference in terms of how you pay for school. There's another one not listed here called the Middle Class Scholarship that you could be eligible for if you are applying to a University of California school or public school, and your family makes more money than would make you eligible for a Cal Grant or a Pell Grant. You may be eligible for a Middle Class Scholarship. Scholarships are the second form of aid that we like best because they're also gift aid, meaning you will receive this money to go to school and you will not pay it back. But the reason that it's secondary to grants is that it takes effort to earn a scholarship. You have to apply for them. Scholarships can come from governments, from colleges themselves, or from private organizations. So we have to do a little work to find scholarships because they're in a variety of locations. You can get scholarships for any number of things. Often they're awarded for academic or athletic ability or achievement. Sometimes they're offered for interest in a certain subject. They could be for volunteer work. Some scholarships are given based on membership to certain ethnic or religious groups. Companies often give scholarships to children of employees, and some scholarships are need-based and others are not. Need-based means depending on your financial situation. So Your school, your high school often has lists of scholarships that you can apply for. Golden Eagle definitely has a long list of scholarships that our students have applied for, many have received. You can also look for scholarships at the college or university that you're planning to attend or that you have applied to. Those are really great starting points when looking for scholarships. I like to think of applying for scholarships like a job. So they are time consuming, and oftentimes that turns students off from applying for them. But really, what I would encourage you to do is to have a mindset where you think about the time that you spend applying like a job. If you spend 10 hours applying to a variety of scholarships and you are awarded $1,000, you were just paid $1,000 for 10 hours of your time. That's that's a really large amount. Struggling with the math for a moment here, but you can see that that's probably going to pay you a lot more than any job that you could get right now would. So just think about it as an investment in your future and that the time is worthwhile. The third type of financial aid that we like is called Workstudy. Workstudy is a federal program that pays students to work at their college part-time while they're in school. So it's basically having a job, but if you use Workstudy, it's a federal program that allows you to work on campus to pay for school. And the benefits of Workstudy is that if you have this on-campus job, they have to work with your school schedule. So they cannot force you to work while you have class, for example. You'll never have to do the work of trying to match your school schedule to your job or get time off to go to class. It's built in. Another benefit is that it's untaxed income. So this means that you will be making more if you have an on-campus work-study job versus if you got paid the same rate off campus. So you're hypothetically making more money for yourself because it's untaxed. And then finally, you can get really valuable work experience and do really great networking with on campus jobs, particularly if you get a job in a department or with a part of the campus that you're really interested in or like working with. So some students decide to get off-campus jobs, some decide to get on-campus jobs, but what you should know here is that Workstudy will probably be a portion of your financial aid package and part of your whole financial aid offer. You can decide whether you take it or not, but those are the things that you'll want to be aware of. And of course, you don't have to pay this money back. You do have to work for it, but you don't have to pay it back. And then finally,